They told you to keep your head down, to blend in, to follow the safe road everyone else walks. But deep down, you knew something didn't feel right, because the voice in your gut kept whispering. You were meant for more. That voice, it's not noise, it's not imagination, it's the truth calling you forward. The truth that this life will not hand you success just because you're a good person. It won't reward your potential. It rewards your focus. It rewards your discipline. It rewards what you build when nobody's clapping for you. See, too many people are looking left and right, comparing, watching, wishing. But not enough people are watching the only person that matters, themselves. Your real power begins the moment you stop chasing the noise outside and start mastering what's going on inside. Your thoughts, your choices, your energy, your habits. That's the work that moves the needle. You don't get success by luck. You get it by obsession. Not the kind that burns you out, but the kind that wakes you up every day with a fire to become the person you said you would be. That's the kind of obsession that rewrites your future. That's the kind of energy that turns average into unstoppable. So many people want to change their life, but they never sit down to change their mindset. They want the prize, but they won't train like it matters. They want the outcome, but they won't put in the daily effort. But you don't have to stay there. You don't have to repeat what they did. You can choose something better. You can choose to lock in on your own journey, like your life depends on it, because it does. The difference between those who rise and those who remain stuck is this. Those who rise make a decision to focus, a decision to commit, a decision to drop the distractions, the excuses, and the need for external approval, and put all their energy into becoming the strongest, sharpest, most reliable version of themselves. You don't have to broadcast your moves. You just have to make them quietly, relentlessly, repeatedly. While others waste time explaining themselves, you're building. While others seek validation, you're evolving. While others scroll and complain, you're training. And you don't do it for applause. You do it because you owe it to yourself to see how far you can go when you stop holding back. There's something powerful that happens when you start pouring your energy into your own growth. Your mindset sharpens, your boundaries tighten, your clarity deepens. You stop chasing things that don't align with your mission. You stop giving away your time to things that drain your potential. You start living like your time is valuable, because it is. You have no idea what you're capable of until you put yourself in a position where you have to grow. Comfort has tricked too many people into staying small. But discomfort is the classroom where strength is built. Discipline is forged in discomfort. Focus is sharpened in discomfort. Growth doesn't come from doing what's easy. It comes from doing what's necessary. The real secret, it's not talent. It's not who you know. It's not how many followers you have. It's how well you manage your energy. Every day you wake up with a limited supply of energy. And where you choose to put it determines what you build. If you waste it on people who don't believe in you, you lose. If you give it to distractions that don't feed your goals, you lose. But if you focus that energy, like a laser, on your craft, on your mind, on your habits, you win. Every time. Focus is the most underrated skill in the world today. And the rare few who learn how to control it, they become unstoppable. Because focus is freedom. When you're focused, you're not reactive. You're intentional. You're not at the mercy of what's happening around you. You're leading what happens within you. Don't fall into the trap of measuring your progress by someone else's timeline. Your story is your own. You're not behind. You're not late. You're exactly where you need to be to begin. But you have to begin. You have to move. You have to decide that this is the season where you stop giving pieces of yourself away to everything that doesn't matter, and start pouring everything you have into becoming the person you were meant to be. Growth is not a straight line. Some days you'll feel unstoppable. Other days you'll feel like nothing's working. But both days matter. Both days are part of the journey. And every time you choose to stay focused, even when it's hard, even when it's boring, even when no one's watching, you're building something stronger than results. You're building self-respect. And that's the foundation of everything. You don't get respect by demanding it. You earn it from yourself first. You earn it by doing what you said you would do, by sticking to your plan when it would be easier to quit, by showing up every single day like your future depends on it. Because it does. Success doesn't ask if you feel ready. It asks if you're disciplined. It asks if you can show up when it's inconvenient. It asks if you can hold the line when nobody's cheering. You have to want your future more than your distractions. You have to want growth more than comfort. You have to want truth more than temporary praise. And the moment you decide that, really decide, everything starts to shift. Because when your focus sharpens, your vision gets clearer. And when your vision gets clearer, your life starts to align. You begin to attract what matches your standard. You begin to walk with a different kind of energy. Not because you're better than anyone, but because you stop betraying your own potential. And that's the shift that changes everything. Not outside, inside. Not in one big leap, but in small, consistent steps. The kind of steps most people overlook because they're not glamorous. But those steps, those small, unsexy, relentless steps, that's where the real transformation happens. Nobody's coming to do it for you. Nobody's coming to fix your life. That's not bad news. It's the best news. Because it means you don't have to wait. You don't need permission. You don't need applause. You just need to focus on yourself with everything you've got. And refuse to let go until the mission is complete. That's the kind of mindset that wins. That's the kind of discipline that builds legacies. That's the kind of clarity that separates the ones who dream from the ones who do. You don't need more time. You need more intention. Because it's not how many hours you have. It's what you do with them. Some people waste entire years trying to look like they're improving. Others take a single hour and build a foundation that lasts a lifetime. The difference is focus. The difference is choosing to lock in on yourself like your life is the project. Because it is. Nobody owes you clarity. You have to create it. And clarity doesn't come from overthinking. It comes from doing. It comes from taking action, even when the outcome is uncertain. It comes from showing up day after day, learning what works, adjusting what doesn't, and refusing to settle for a version of yourself that you've already outgrown. This isn't about ego. This isn't about proving something to others. This is about honoring your own potential. Every day you spend focused on yourself, on your values, your vision, your progress. You take another step away from the noise and closer to peace. Not comfort, peace. The kind that comes from knowing you are not living a watered-down version of who you could be. You want a powerful life? Start making powerful decisions. And powerful decisions don't always look impressive. Sometimes they look like saying no. No to drama. No to distractions. No to people who want your attention but not your growth. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is walk away. Not out of anger, but out of clarity. Because you know where you're going. And if you don't yet, that's where the focus begins. Sit with yourself. Get honest. Ask yourself what kind of life you're willing to build. What kind of discipline you're willing to master. What kind of challenges you're willing to face head on. And most importantly, ask yourself what kind of person you refuse to be anymore. See, most people never slow down enough to ask the right questions. They're so busy reacting, they never get around to creating. They're stuck chasing approval, chasing comfort, chasing shortcuts. But you're not most people. You're here for a reason. You feel it, that pull to grow, that hunger to evolve, that quiet voice inside that keeps pushing you forward, even when everything around you tells you to give up. That voice is your truth. Don't ignore it. Don't silence it. Follow it. It's not asking you to be perfect. It's asking you to rise, to take control, to stop waiting for ideal conditions, and start building with what you have. That's the real edge. Not waiting for permission, but creating momentum. You don't need to explain why you're focused. You don't owe anyone a speech about your discipline. Real progress is quiet. It doesn't announce itself. It shows up in results. It shows up in how you walk, how you talk, how you carry yourself. It shows up in the decisions you make when no one's looking. That's where your power lives. The ones who succeed aren't lucky. They're intentional. They spend less time explaining and more time executing. They don't waste energy chasing what's popular. They chase what's purposeful. They aren't worried about being liked. They're committed to being excellent. They don't complain about how hard it is. They lean into the pressure and use it as fuel. Pressure will come. Resistance will come. But none of it is there to stop you. It's there to shape you. Every challenge is a chance to upgrade your character. Every delay is a test of your patience. Every moment of doubt is an invitation to get clearer on what you're fighting for. This isn't punishment. It's preparation. You want to win? Learn to keep going when nobody believes in you. Learn to train when it's inconvenient. Learn to protect your energy like it's sacred, because it is. And learn to focus on what you can control. That's where your power is. Not in the opinions of others. Not in the chaos around you. In your response. In your discipline. In your ability to choose progress over comfort. Again and again. It's not flashy. It's not fast, but it's real. And it lasts. Because when you focus on yourself, you start to build something no one can take from you. Inner strength, real peace, quiet confidence, the kind of self-respect that doesn't come from compliments, but from knowing you kept your word to yourself. Most people won't understand your obsession. That's fine. It's not for them. They'll tell you to relax. They'll tell you to slow down. They'll try to make you feel guilty for wanting more. But here's the truth. You don't need to shrink so others feel comfortable. You don't need to dull your shine to keep the peace. If your growth makes people uncomfortable, that's their issue, not yours. Because the more you grow, the more you'll outgrow. And that's part of the process. It's not personal. It's alignment. You're not walking away from people. You're walking toward your future, toward your vision, toward the version of yourself that refuses to settle for average. This is the life you build when you choose discipline over distractions, when you choose growth over gossip, when you choose silence over noise. Not because you're weak, but because your mission speaks louder than your words ever could. You want to succeed? Focus on yourself like your future depends on it. Because it does. Make your habits your anchor. Make your word your bond. Make your time your investment. And stop waiting for someone to give you permission to live full out. You are the permission. You are the standard. You are the one who decides how this story goes. It's going to take time. It's going to test you. You're going to face setbacks, doubts, and moments where you question everything. But those are the exact moments that shape you. Don't run from them. Face them. Learn from them. Let them sharpen your resolve. Because if you can keep going when it's hard, you're already ahead of 99% of people who quit when it's inconvenient. Your only job is to keep moving forward. Not perfectly, not quickly, but intentionally. Every single day. One choice at a time. One disciplined moment at a time. That's how you build momentum. That's how you build character. That's how you build a life that reflects who you really are. And as you keep moving forward, something shifts. The noise gets quieter. The doubt loses its grip. The path doesn't necessarily get easier, but you get stronger. And that strength doesn't come from pretending everything's fine. It comes from showing up anyway, from facing the discomfort, feeling the resistance, and deciding it's not bigger than your purpose. That's the work. Showing up for yourself, even when nobody's clapping, especially when nobody's clapping, because the applause doesn't matter. The alignment does. What matters is that you keep the promises you made to yourself when nobody else was watching. What matters is that you keep building when there's no spotlight, no recognition, no reward. Because that's when the real growth happens. Quiet, relentless, earned. You see, people want change. They want the transformation. But very few are willing to sit with themselves long enough to become what they say they want. They chase quick fixes, surface-level strategies, and shortcuts that feel good for a week, but lead nowhere in the long run. You're not here for that. You're here to become unshakable, to become focused, grounded, and clear. That requires a deeper kind of commitment. You have to stop looking for external motivation and start relying on internal standards. Stop waiting to feel ready and start moving like you're already prepared. Life rewards those who are consistent, not those who are convenient. You have to show life you're serious. Show life that you mean it. Because when you move with that kind of energy, doors open, people notice, opportunities find you. But they don't come when you're half committed. They don't come when you're distracted. They don't come when your energy is split between your goals and your insecurities. They come when you're locked in, when you're rooted in purpose, when you've stopped trying to be everything to everyone and started becoming everything you were meant to be. That's why you focus on yourself. Not out of selfishness, out of necessity. Because without focus, your mind is scattered. Your energy is drained. Your days are reaction after reaction, instead of intention after intention. But when you do focus, everything changes. You move differently. You speak differently. You plan, prepare, and protect your future like it's sacred, because it is. Discipline becomes less about restriction and more about direction. You stop asking, what am I allowed to do? And start asking, what brings me closer to who I want to be? You stop needing 100 strategies and start mastering one habit at a time. That's the difference between dabbling and dominating. Most people dabble, you're here to dominate. You don't do what's easy, you do what's right. You don't wait for the right mood, you build the right mindset. You don't rely on willpower alone. You create an environment that pulls you forward. You eliminate temptations. You reduce the noise. You engineer your day to win before it even begins. That's real control. That's real leadership, starting with yourself. And yes, it's going to cost you. It's going to cost you your excuses, your distractions, your comfort zones. It's going to cost you some sleep, some weekends, some validation, but it will give you you, the real you, the focused, clear, driven, disciplined version of yourself that was buried under years of doubt, fear, and wasted time. That version of you is waiting, not in the future, not 10 years from now. Right now, inside every decision you make, every habit you follow through on, every moment you choose to build instead of break. That version of you isn't motivated by praise. They're fueled by purpose. They don't seek approval. They move with clarity. They don't need to impress. They're too busy becoming undeniable. That's what happens when you lock in. You stop needing people to believe in you. You become your own evidence, your own motivation, your own accountability. You build a life that speaks for itself, not through words, but through results, through peace, through power, through the kind of unshakable presence that only comes from doing the inner work when no one's watching. So if you're tired of starting over, stop giving up. If you're tired of falling back into old patterns, break the pattern once and for all. You are not who you were a year ago. You are not defined by your worst day. You are not limited by what others think is possible for you. You are only limited by how long you're willing to stay focused. And you have time, but not forever. You have energy, but it's not infinite. You have potential, but only if you develop it. So use what you've got. Protect your mornings. Strengthen your evenings. Build systems that make winning automatic. Create rituals that ground you. Design habits that align with the life you say you want. Because no one's going to build it for you. No one's going to force you to care about your future. No one's going to hand you discipline, focus, vision, or clarity. You have to give those things to yourself. You have to fight for them. You have to choose them when it's easier to check out. And when you do, when you show up with full attention, full conviction, full ownership, life begins to respond. You attract better because you've become better. You start to walk lighter because you're not carrying regret. You stop settling because you know what you're worth. You stop chasing because you've become a magnet. Not because you're perfect, but because you're aligned, clear, consistent. And that kind of energy doesn't go unnoticed. It speaks louder than words. It opens the right doors. It removes the wrong people. It draws in the kind of opportunities that match your new level of focus. Because you didn't just wish for it, you prepared for it. Keep your eyes on the path. Keep your energy on your priorities. Keep your standards high. Keep your self-respect sacred. And above all, keep your focus on you. Until the life you've been working for is no longer a dream. It's your new normal. And the more you build, the more you'll start to realize that success isn't a destination you arrive at one day. It's a state you enter into by how you live each moment. It's how you show up when nobody sees you. It's how you keep going when no one is applauding. It's how you keep faith in the process, even when the results are invisible. You stop asking, when will it happen for me? And start asking, how much longer can I hold the line with integrity, patience, and focus? You stop needing to be seen and start needing to be solid. Because when you're solid, when your habits are built on a foundation of truth, effort, and clarity, you don't get shaken by every storm. You don't lose your way because someone else questions your path. You don't compromise your future for short-term comfort. And that's what focus really is. The refusal to be pulled off course by things that don't matter. The quiet discipline to say no 100 times a day to distractions, temptations, and comfort zones. The ability to delay gratification long enough to build something real. Most people won't do that. Most people are chasing quick hits of success, easy wins, or the path of least resistance. But that's not you. You're chasing something deeper. You're chasing alignment. You're chasing freedom. You're chasing the kind of life that can only come from full ownership. And ownership means this: everything is your responsibility. Your growth, your peace, your habits, your vision, your next move. That doesn't mean you control everything, but it does mean you respond to everything with clarity and strength. No more blaming, no more waiting, no more pointing fingers. You own your role in every part of your life, and because of that, you take your power back. And once you've got your power back, you protect it. That means protecting your time, protecting your energy, protecting your circle. You stop letting just anyone have access to you. You stop letting noise dictate your focus. You stop letting outside opinions weigh more than your own truth. Because when you're locked in on yourself, when you're deeply focused on who you're becoming, you don't have time for the petty, the shallow, or the meaningless. You have too much on the line, too much growth to chase, too much purpose to fulfill. Every distraction you allow in is time you never get back. So you become ruthless with your time. You become clear about what matters. You stop entertaining what drains you. You stop negotiating your boundaries. You stop giving half effort to things that need full attention. Because you know that the way you do anything is the way you do everything. And you learn to keep going even when it's boring, even when it's hard, even when the results are slow. That's what separates the ones who make it from the ones who wish they had. Most people can sprint for a week. Very few can endure for a year. But the long game, that's where you rise. That's where you evolve. You don't need more motivation. You need stronger standards. You don't need hype. You need habits. You don't need to feel inspired every day. You need to move every day. Focus teaches you that feelings are not facts. Action is. Focus shows you that consistency beats intensity every time. And the beauty is, once you've trained your focus, it starts to feel like freedom, not restriction, not pressure. Freedom. Because you're no longer at the mercy of your moods, your cravings, your distractions, or your past. You're in command. You decide what gets your attention. You decide what's worth your time. You decide how you show up. No matter what's going on around you, that's real success. When your days are driven by values, not emotions. When your actions reflect who you want to become, not just how you feel. When your life becomes proof that discipline isn't a punishment. It's a portal. A portal to a life you actually respect. A life you can stand behind. A life that didn't just happen. It was built with intention. And building with intention means you don't just talk about self-love. You practice it. You don't just talk about healing. You do the work. You don't just chase peace. You create it through your choices. You stop performing and start aligning. You stop comparing and start becoming. You stop asking for permission and start moving with purpose. Everything changes when you decide that you matter enough to go all in. Not halfway. Not when it's easy. Not when you feel inspired. All in every day. Especially on the days you want to check out. Especially when the process gets lonely. Especially when no one understands the level of sacrifice you're willing to make. Because here's the truth. Most people won't get it. They won't understand why you stopped going out. Why you wake up early. Why you train so hard. Why you guard your peace. Why you say no to things they've normalized. But that's okay. Your path isn't meant to make sense to people who aren't walking it. You don't need validation. You need focus. You don't need approval. You need action. You don't need to explain yourself. You need to keep becoming so undeniable that your results do the talking. So keep going. Keep refining. Keep showing up. Keep evolving. You're not doing this just to get by. You're doing this to rise. You're not doing this to impress. You're doing this to transform. Every hard day is part of it. Every quiet victory matters. Every time you resist comfort, you grow roots that no storm can shake. And one day, maybe sooner than you think, you'll look back at this season of focus, this stretch of relentless effort, this period where you chose yourself again and again, and you'll realize this is where you changed your life. Not with a big announcement, not with a viral moment, but with your head down, your heart in it, and your standards locked in. You focused on yourself until you succeeded. And when that moment comes, when you finally stand in the life you built, you won't feel surprised. You won't feel lucky. You'll feel ready because you earned every inch of it. You didn't skip steps. You didn't cut corners. You didn't wait for someone to hand it to you. You became the kind of person who could carry it. And more than anything, you'll feel proud, not just of the outcome, but of who you had to become to make it real. Proud of the discipline it took. Proud of the courage you developed. Proud of the days you didn't quit. The nights you sat alone. The work you put in when no one was watching. You'll feel peace because you'll know, without a doubt, that none of it was given to you. You claimed it. That's what focus gives you. Not just results, respect. The kind of respect that can't be bought. The kind that doesn't need to be announced. The kind that speaks loudest in silence. In your energy, in your consistency, in the quiet confidence that you now carry. Because success isn't loud. Discipline isn't loud. Mastery isn't loud. It's a deep hum inside of you. The vibration of purpose. And once you lock into that, you never go back. The noise fades. The distractions shrink. The approval of others becomes irrelevant. And what's left is you. Raw, clear, driven, alive. No more pretending. No more waiting. No more wishing. Just doing. Just building. Just refining. Just living like the future depends on the steps you take today, because it does. You start to see time differently. You start to treat your energy like currency. You start investing it where it matters. No more giving it away to people who don't value it. No more pouring it into things that don't return it. No more wasting it trying to explain your growth to people committed to staying stuck. You understand now. Success is built quietly, silently, relentlessly, and most importantly, internally. The moment you realize that everything you want begins with who you're becoming, everything starts to shift. You stop asking for opportunities and start preparing for them. You stop chasing approval and start trusting your intuition. You stop needing shortcuts and start respecting the process. And the process will test you. It's supposed to. That's how you grow. That's how you strengthen your foundation. That's how you prove, not to others, but to yourself, that you're built for this, that you can handle it, that you can carry it, that you won't fold under pressure, that you won't crack when things get hard. And they will get hard. People will doubt you. Your own mind will resist you. The results will take longer than you want. The loneliness will feel heavier than you expected. The setbacks will feel unfair. But you keep going anyway, because your focus isn't conditional. Your purpose isn't fragile. Your vision isn't up for debate. That's how you win. You don't win because it's easy. You don't win because it's fast. You win because you keep choosing yourself in every season. Through every doubt, every delay, every disappointment. You win because you keep showing up with intention, with hunger, with full commitment. And that commitment, it compounds. Every day you stay focused adds weight to your character. Every habit you keep builds leverage. Every lesson you learn sharpens your edge. Until one day you're not just surviving, you're dominating. You're not just participating, you're leading. You're not just dreaming, you're living it. And not because someone gave you permission, but because you earned your place. You paid for it with every early morning, every late night, every sacrifice, every rep, every moment of doubt you moved through with discipline. You earned it because you focused on yourself. You tuned out the noise. You stopped chasing and started becoming. You stopped talking and started building. You stopped waiting and started moving. You stopped hoping and started creating. This is what it takes. Not inspiration, not luck, not talent alone. Focus, sustained, disciplined, committed focus on what matters most. Your mindset, your actions, your growth, your future, and the willingness to protect that focus like your life depends on it. Because it does. Because the life you want, it's not found in a moment of motivation. It's found in the small, invisible choices you make every single day. It's built in the repetition. It's earned in the silence. And it's lived by the ones who refuse to give up on themselves, no matter how long it takes. So don't stop. Don't look around. Don't water down your standards to fit in. Don't shrink your vision to match someone else's comfort zone. Keep climbing, keep carving, keep showing the world through your example, through your excellence, through your evolution. What happens when someone focuses on themselves until they succeed? Because that's what you were born for. Not average, not comfort, not survival. You were born to rise. You were born to lead. You were born to take what's inside of you. The hunger, the discipline, the strength, the purpose, and build something unforgettable with it. That's what happens when you focus on yourself long enough. You stop existing, and you start becoming unstoppable.